Welcome to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show on Blog Talk Radio with me, Astrologer Shelley Overton. Each week we go over the planetary positions, discuss astrology, and take callers' questions. If you would like to call in and get a reading, you can call 347-994-3365. Call in early as the lines fill up. Hi, this is Shelley, and this is an extra recording that I'm doing because when I first recorded the show on Tuesday, there was some kind of mute going on, and my whole dissertation on Saturn in Capricorn did not record. So I'm going to give you a little bit of heads up for the rest of the week because it's a pretty significant week, and I don't want to just leave you hanging. So today, which is Thursday, I have noticed a number of different things going on. It's quite an interesting day, actually, astrologically. I'm just calling up the chart here for what's going on right now. So we have a grand cross in the sky, and for those who don't know, that means that there are 4 planets or lights, which the sun and the moon are lights, and they are in opposite sides crossing through the middle. So there's one opposite another crossing 2 others opposite each other. So they make a square in the sky. And when this happens, it means that I envision it to be like a boxing ring where everybody takes their corner and they all come out fighting. But it's more than just that. It's so many dynamics. It's a cooperation. It is finding things that don't work anymore for you and wanting to move towards things that do work for you. It can be like 4 different directions are pulling on you, or it can mean that you're finding a cooperation, like I said, where you feel the opposite energy and then you're crossing 2 other energies, and that there is a lot going on. So let's just get into what is going on. Okay, so the whole point of the podcast was Saturn moves direct. So Saturn moved direct this morning at 7:09 a.m. Eastern, and you may have felt that shift, but I usually feel the shift coming between 5 and 7 days before the actual shift of the planet happens. And so, we're feeling this strong structural responsibility, energetic shift from authoritarianism and all the things that Capricorn rules in energy realms, which is organization, authority, structure, systems, labeling. Anything that gets you organized and makes you own some kind of karmic energy in your life. So Saturn, I've noticed, has really been affecting people in the area of health lately. And part of the reason for that is a trine to the sun, which just moved past. And then now, as of today, Mercury just went into Virgo. It is a trine to Saturn within 1 degree. And so a lot of health issues have been coming up. I've got at least 3 people I know with major health issues. And so you may notice that in your own life. But what health issues do is it draws your attention to a part of the body that is specific to an area of your life. And if you check out Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, that book kind of lists the different afflictions in the body and what they mean in belief systems. And that can help you understand a little bit better what exactly that relates to. So Capricorn relates to feeling overwhelmed by having to be responsible, or say that you've been super busy or people are pressuring you in different ways you feel overwhelmed. You feel like you're not going to be able to maintain this level of intensity anymore because it's just becoming too overwhelming. That is also the lesson of what Saturn's been doing since it's been in Capricorn, and also Pluto kicking up a lot of energy around our psychology. Remember, Pluto rules Scorpio, and that is the energy of the hidden, that which we research, understanding things on a psychological level, and really trying to understand our own psyche. So we have these two very profound bodies of energy in the heavens. We have Saturn and we have Pluto, and they're both in Capricorn. At the moment that I'm speaking to you, Mars is at 29 degrees and 18 minutes of Capricorn. So Mars has been wrapping up his time in Capricorn, and he went retrograde back in there recently. I want to say the end of July. Let me just look here real quick. So he actually got back in mid-August. I forget, we're already in September. So as of the 14th of August, he went back into Capricorn, which he was already in this year until May 17th. So from May through August, he was exploring Aquarius. And Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, is very conceptual. It is a thinking sign. It is a logic sign. It is a scientific sign. It is a quantum sign and energy. We are very clear when Mars is in Aquarius. We have ideas and we want to do them because Mars gives us the drive to execute them. But when he went back into Capricorn, we found the energy to be bogged down a bit. We withdrew again. We felt overwhelmed. We felt like we've already covered this territory. And a lot of us felt like we were stuck because Mars is the action-taking planet and the drive that we have in our lives. And with him not only retrograde, but in an Earth sign and a very restrictive by nature Earth sign of Capricorn, he kind of got stuck in the mud. You know, he was out there flying around the hills, and then he went back into Capricorn, and then boom, he's back slogging through the energy that he was just in. And he was so ready to move on back then. And so for you and your world, you're going to want to move on. You're probably feeling that something has completed its run in your life. You can no longer tolerate the situation. It doesn't resonate to you anymore, and it isn't fulfilling to you the way it was before. And maybe if you were taking responsibility for other people's stuff, you're realizing that owning other people's emotions, owning other people's lives is too much for you. It's not your responsibility, and you need to face the fear of what would happen if you let go. And that's what we have to deal with right now. Because Mars goes in on Monday, that means we are really wrapping up the last few days of Mars in this energy for a couple years. And so he'll be back again in a couple years in Capricorn. And also at the same time, we'll have Jupiter in Capricorn. So it's going to be a very significant 2020 with Saturn joining Pluto in Capricorn, Mars coming back, and then Jupiter going in. So we'll talk about that another time because it's very potent energy in 2020. And it is a major shift for our country because of all the energy really culminating in the placement of our natal as a country, our natal Pluto in Capricorn at late degrees. So for now, though, Mars is very significantly triggering our natal Pluto as he is just finishing up those last degrees in the 20s of Capricorn. So we see kind of more of that intensity in our news, in our country, and it's almost like a fever pitch of what's going on. As I'm recording this, Brett Kavanaugh, I think it's Brett Kavanaugh, pardon me for not knowing his first name, but he's up for the Supreme Court nomination, and that's really contentious right now, and it's getting heightened. I was looking at the astrological energy coming in, and Venus 28 degrees Libra as part of this grand cross in the sky. So let me just tell you what that is. Venus is at 28 Libra, Mars is at 29 Capricorn, squaring Venus, which is squaring Uranus at 2 degrees Taurus, retrograde, so he's moving back towards Aries. And the moon, as of now, is at 2 degrees, just moved out of the late degree of Cancer. So that's kind of released a bit of that tension. But now he is exactly square to a 2-degree Uranus, again, today, Thursday. So there's this strong pulling in multiple directions. It's kind of like we're all opposing everybody, and everyone has their point of view and everyone wants to get along, but they're in cardinal signs, which is an initiating energy, but it's also, well, they were cardinal. 2 of them are still in cardinal, and the other ones are in fixed, which just makes it even more setting our feet in stone. So we have the moon in Leo squaring Uranus and Taurus, which is fixed. So now the fight really begins, because now we're going to really say, no, this is not the vision we have. And quite honestly, moon in Leo represents children, represents creativity and drama and leaders. And then Uranus in Taurus represents growing something, money, and it can be a lot of different things. Uranus is science, but it's also technology and electricity and communication on a broad scale. It's bringing humanitarianism to the table. And in Taurus, it's the cost of humanitarianism and the cost of what the people want. And as he gets closer and closer to Aries, we are going to be wrapping up an old story around male energy and male dominance on some level, because we have Pluto in an authority energy, and we have Saturn, which represents also the master, the person who is in charge. And those energies are also part of the story. So Uranus retrograde, the people moving into a new sign after 8 years, trining Saturn at 2 degrees Capricorn, now as of today direct. There is a clash. I know it's a trine, but it's a grand trine, because we not only have a grand cross, we have a grand trine. So the grand trine is Saturn and Mercury at 1 degree Virgo in Earth, and Uranus at 2 degrees Taurus in Earth. So this grand trine, while it is a cooperative historical aspect, it does tend to bring very profound shifts, and it can be uncomfortable or painful shifts, which are followed by a cooperative or a beneficial energy. So today, the planets involved are electrical, Mercury in Virgo, which is teaching, which is service and health, and also Uranus in Earth sign Taurus, which is money and growth and earth and technology. The fact that Mercury is trining Uranus in technological areas, but Mercury is also in trying to Saturn, which is bringing it down to earth. So it generally tends to be air intellectual, and Uranus is air intellectual, but both are in earth signs. So now we have the tangible manifestation of what they're bringing. So it's electronics, it's small animals, it is growing things, it's science and technology and growing things. It's also, and it can be entrepreneurship, it can be retail, it can be fashion, it can be beauty, arts, women, unusual things, unusual situations, or understanding the collective mentality around those issues. And it's also Saturn. So it's bringing it down to earth, bringing it to tangible, and now organizing it in a way that can be understood and utilized. So we've got technology, and we also have, like I said, small appliances, but it can also mean transportation and transportation systems, the infrastructure of the country, and also things that are happening in an unexpected way. This is part of why I wanted to re-record this whole section that I had talked about, which didn't get recorded. Thank you, Mercury trining Uranus and Saturn. It is an energy that can bring unexpected shifts in the earth. That can be earthquakes, it can be mudslides, it can be accidents that involve material goods and things that have significance to large groups of people. So I wanted you to be aware of that. I want you to know Mercury by nature can be fickle and unexpected, just as Uranus can be. And so when Mercury goes into Virgo, Virgo is earth energy. So we're going to see more physical manifestation of the potential of accidents and health issues that were unexpected. As of today, that had something to do with my life because I had to take a friend to a significant dentist appointment that she found out she had to have 2 root canals. And my daughter's father had some surgery today, which also didn't necessarily go as expected, but did turn out better, I think, than could have been expected. So it can be good and it can be bad. Yes, there's a negative issue, but it's getting taken care of and it ends up being to the benefit. So definitely, we have a lot of different types of energy going on. Late degree Venus at 28 Libra is a strong potential for ending relationships, especially opposite Uranus and Taurus, which rules coupling. And then we also have Venus square to Mars, which is men. So Venus women, Mars men, they're at odds. Capricorn Mars is finishing up a physical, tangible situation. It could be also around home and family and career. So there is an energy of desire for a coupling or a partnership at odds with the career. At the same time, I also spoke to someone today about the potential of doing a partnership. And so you think, well, wait a minute, what? Like I said, I'm really shifting how I see squares and oppositions because yes, they are friction, but they can be friction in a constructive way, especially when you have Capricorn involved. So Capricorn, right now, for everybody to reiterate, is strongly about the structure of things and about, do you own your stuff and can you let go of that which is no longer serving you? Because Mars wants you at this specific degree to wrap it up and let it go. There's no more action being taken towards that situation. Yes, we will have Saturn join Pluto in a couple of years. We will see a continuation of this specific energy, but where we want to physically move on, Mars is initiating this transition. We will revisit it and make the ideological shift that backs it up coming in 2020. And that's a whole other story. It's a very significant year. It's a very significant 3 months at the beginning of the year, as we also have a significant time coming in January with Saturn. I believe that's when, I'm just going off memory, but Saturn joins Pluto, I believe, in January of this coming year. I don't have that ephemeris handy right now, but there are a number of significant aspects coming up in the next few years. I will keep you up on those if you listen to the show, but I did want to give you this information. And then the last thing I was noticing also is the trine between Jupiter and Neptune. And let me see, there was a grand trine between the moon, Jupiter, and Neptune, but that's transited since moon is now in Leo. And so that was earlier in the week, 2 days ago. And so that energy was about water, was about emotion. It could be broody. It could be wanting to be at home. It could be something significant happen with females, with emotions around women, which I know part of this hearing with Kavanaugh has to do with the Roe v. Wade issue. So that is also significant to what Jupiter trining Neptune is doing right now. And Venus goes into Scorpio. I want to say it's Sunday. I looked it up just earlier. Hang on for a second while I double check that. Yeah, Venus goes in to Scorpio at 5:25 a.m. Eastern and 2:25 a.m. Pacific on Sunday the 9th. And so we're going to experience kind of going from that more optimistic, conceptual, loving energy and balance energy, feminine energy, Venus rules Libra, into intensity, Scorpio, and ready to make a fight. So Venus only stays there a short amount of time. Let me just see real quick if I can. I don't think I have my glasses. Oh, there they are. Yeah, I do. Yay. So let's see. Venus. She goes into Scorpio on the 9th and stays there. Oh, she goes retrograde. Yes. So we're going to have a lot longer Venus in Scorpio. She retrogrades around the 5th and doesn't go direct until the 15th of November. And so she will get back into the last 4 degrees of Venus. So she's going to go back into Venus the 1st of October. Actually, yeah, around, oh, hang on. Yeah, the 1st of October, I looked this up, or November, excuse me. I'm in November. And then she goes direct on the 17th of November. So she will be dabbling with Libra again. And that means that you will have someone come back in from your past. And there will be like, hey, are we really done? Do we want to be split apart? The answer is likely, especially if something happened in the relationship in the last few weeks. You are wrapping up that story. Venus, late degree Libra, square Mars, late degree Capricorn. The issue at hand tends to be authority, responsibility, somebody not taking necessary responsibility that they should be taking. And the issue is strong, and it is one that is coming to an end. If you don't end that relationship with those responsibility issues, I can tell you within the next year, when Saturn joins up with Pluto, you will be revisiting them, and you will be making a very clear demarcation in your life around that energy. You will be wrapping up the story that may have dogged you most of your life around taking ownership for that which isn't yours. This whole cycle came in with Pluto going into Capricorn in 2007 and into 2008. And we felt it really at the end of 2007. So it's a very significant energy. The energy of Capricorn is the person who is so responsible, they're hyper responsible for everyone else. And now is the time that they are coming at Capricorns, Capricorn rising, Capricorn planets. Anyone who's a Capricorn sun, my friend with the tooth issue today, she's a Capricorn. I have another friend who's a Capricorn. It is a major shift in the lives of those who are Capricorns, because they are finally at a point where they are tired of being the one who's the responsible person for everyone else, which is their ideological belief system. That's them. That's it. It's you, it's me, it's whoever is experiencing that sense that I've taken responsibility for more than my share and I'm so tired and drained, I can't do it anymore. Now's the time to let it go. That's the lesson. Pay attention to where it's at in your chart. If you want to know where it's at in your chart, please do look me up. I am at angeliczodiac.com. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram. And I do a lot on Instagram, so you can get me there. But also you can book through Facebook. You can book on my website. And, you can email me personally at so@angeliczodiac.com or Shelley, Shelley, at astrologerangel.com. And thank you for listening. And I'm sorry we had issues with the show. And I hope you get to listen to this and really get something from it, because fortunately I was able to get it all out and I had caffeine, so that's why I'm hyper aware of everything today. But listen again next Tuesday. We've got another show and we'll talk to you then. Thanks. Bye. Please stick around for the rest of the pre-recorded show. I did not have my mute button on this week. It was absolutely because I've been double checking it through the whole show, and it was on. It was working properly. So it was the line connection.
The introduction and the music came through, but you did not.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Okay. Well, Blog Talk, we'll be hearing about that. Pardon me?
It'll be interesting to see if this one got recorded then, if your button was unmuted.
Yes, it will be very interesting. Not happy. Sorry, but I'm not happy
I can
with that
tell.
right now.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because it's happened more often than not. Well, I shouldn't say it hasn't happened more often than not, but it has happened too frequently when you pay what I pay to have a show.
Yeah.
So I'm very annoyed. Anyway, let's just talk to you. Linda, right?
Yep, I'm Linda in Minnesota.
Lovely.
Wondering if there's anything like profound in my charts. I'm feeling a little better. Last week, I was kind of feeling like the cartoon character that got rolled over by the steamroller and it just flashed, and it was like I had to get up and shake it out. But that's how I felt, and a lot of like no energy.
Yeah, well, I threw my back out last Thursday and have only today been off of Advil for the first time since then. So I completely get what you're talking about. Yeah, that's part of what I was saying before I realized I wasn't being recorded, that right now a lot of health issues are coming out with people. And if you don't mind me reiterating a little bit of what I said, Mars at the last degrees of Capricorn is the physical structure of the body. And so, I mean, it's the skeleton, whereas Taurus is the body itself. Capricorn is the physical structure, the skeleton. And the fact that the two are in trine to the exact degree right now, and then Mercury is at N degrees Leo, about to go into Virgo this week and complete that trine degree. It is health issues, and there's a lot of potential for accident proneness, but it can be really draining because the Capricorn energy gets our psychology, Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. It's our psychology being shifted and tested. And what we know is structurally sound is not sound anymore. And a lot of the stress that we have in our day is being expressed out through the body. And the last thing I said before I stopped talking about all that was that, Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, it tells about what each part of the body is as far as health-wise and different afflictions and what it relates to in behavior and belief systems. And definitely the zodiac relates to the body, starting with the head at Aries and the feet at Pisces. And so all around the zodiac, everything's assigned a different part of the body, and it relates to that particular sign. And so you can see when something happens that there's a connection to the planets, there's a connection to the that we have and our expression through our belief systems. So it's what I consider to be holistic. And so that's kind of how I live my life, in that holistic manner where everything is integrated. And you just have to pay attention to the symbology. And I use astrology initially, but I also, because I've seen a lot of signs, like I was talking on air before, and I noticed it was 11/11. That's messages. There are messages always coming through to us if we notice them and we assign that energy to the symbol. We can get messages all the time, and it's not just made up. It's like when you assign a meaning to something, like I'm looking at my wall here and I have a bunch of greeting cards that design my wall. A greeting card is a symbol of a thought or sentiment, and that's a representation of what that is. So it's a symbol. Everything in our world is a symbol. I mean, people can be symbols. We project out onto them and what they represent through their interactions back to us. So, the world is full of messages coming through. We just don't integrate it in an intuitive way. We look at the world as very linear, and I mean, Capricorn sees things as very literal. And so when we're dealing with Capricorn right now, we're really trying to understand that literal sense of things. And there's so much more than just literal. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You've got all these terrible things that seem to be coming out in the last 2 weeks. And I mean, I was talking a little bit about other people in my life, and I have someone that I've been in a relationship with now, no longer, but has a detached retina. I found out my aunt has something called supranuclear palsy this week, and that is something that is a degenerative nervous disease, or the brain and nervous system. And it's just a lot of people are expressing out, and the transition and transformational energy of Saturn and Pluto and Mars at the last degrees, it really has triggered a lot of health issues lately. Yeah, so I just wanted everyone to be aware that there is kind of a connection to that Mars exiting Capricorn, and that it's a wrap up of an old belief system, which is very strong potential expressed through the body, and expressed in ways that it can attract. Like I've had 2 or 3 people I know have accidents, and I had an accident. I have 2 friends who had car accidents in the last couple months. And then, so these things are just kind of expressing now in the physical sense. And Capricorn also can rule like road systems and transportation and the physical system of that. And Mars is cars, or, there's just symbology everywhere. Right now, it's just these last 2 weeks with the Mars retrograde has just really kicked a lot of people's butts. And I'll tell you what I told. Yeah, I felt that. What I told my friend who is going through a detached retina, and there are other things that have been going on in career that, I could tell you, I would love to tell you, but I can't tell you. And so, anyway, it's just been a difficult time at work, and also a physical time. And, it's a long distance thing, he moved and there's a distance issue, and it's just been really difficult. And that's part of Capricorn end degrees and Mars and end degrees Capricorn. So what I said was the end degrees are the wrapping up of the old story, the elderly things that are disintegrating and moving out of our lives. And when Mars goes into Aquarius, it's a reiteration of what we just felt not long ago, 2 months ago, when Mars was in Aquarius. It's about new. It's about unusual, exciting, conceptual, what's coming in that's fresh and different. And Capricorn's about old and stable, and it can get stagnant. So we're having to let things go structurally, wherever it is in your chart. So for you, it falls in your 11th house of friendships, and it could be associates with work and career. And it's also ideas, and it's groups of people. So those are shifting for you. And it's hard because it's a little bit ambiguous, because it's the 11th house, it's the Aquarius house, and Aquarius rules thought, and it rules science, it rules things that can be channeled, it rules the air, it rules electricity. So it's nothing that's terribly tangible. It's more of an idea and a concept that is shifting and changing for you. And I would say you and I have something similar in that, because Capricorn falls in my 3rd house, which is the Mercury air house, and you've got it in Uranus air. So it's just really, air is difficult to pinpoint, and it's more like I don't feel happy per se. I know things are changing, and I'm not really sure I want them to change. But then Mars for you is also right on the end degrees of the 12th house. Tell me again, are you the one who has a vision issue?
Yes, I'm totally blind right now. I lost my eyesight 2 years. It was progressive.
Okay.
So, yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, so interestingly, I actually mentioned you in the first part of the show, because my ex-husband just got a detached retina. And
he's in Minnesota.
He's in Minnesota. That's interesting. I forgot you were in Minnesota. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, he's in Minneapolis. He lives downtown. So he's going through surgery on Thursday for a detached retina. And then my son, you have a 2-degree Aquarius rising. My son has a 1-degree Aquarius rising, and he also has a vision issue in one eye. He has lazy eye, and his brain doesn't process the information. So I just find that this degree
kind of is expressive of vision issues. But even more so, it's in the first house, which I was saying earlier, the head, the eyes, the head, and Aquarius is associated with neurological. So when you have head and neurological, you can be potentially prone to head accidents or things that upset vision or breathing in the head, sinuses, things like that. So it's all from the neck up. And yeah, and it's drive. So you having Mars going into the first house here on September 10th. So next week at, I think I said 7 o'clock, around 7 o'clock in the evening, Eastern. So you're Central time. So 6 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, you'll feel that shift. And Mars goes into your first house, and it gives you more drive and more sense of optimism. And you won't feel as drained. And you specifically, because anyone with Aquarius rising, you have Capricorn in the 12th, it does bog you down. And it works on your intuition.
Oh, so bad.
It works on
just,
yeah. Go ahead, tell me.
Yeah, just so bad. So it's like, and it's like, no interest in, in doing my healing work because I'm an energy healer, and and I thought I was going to do voiceover, and all of a sudden, like a couple weeks ago, it was like, oh, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I feel you. I completely feel you.
So I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, part of what that is you've got the dynamic and the polarity of Cancer up at Capricorn. And today, specifically, well, back when you were thinking of that last week, Moon was moving closer into your house of home and family. So there's that, like, I just want a cocoon. And today, Moon is in Cancer, so it also adds to that.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly how I felt that. And I still feel like that today. It's like, I just want a cocoon.
Yeah, Mars is in your 12th in Capricorn, so until it gets to about 2 degrees, which will be probably the end of next week, you'll feel much. I think on Monday Monday evening you'll feel much better, and it'll just get stronger and stronger through the end of next week. So it's going to be a little bit more exciting, and you'll be more driven. You'll be more. And you were talking about, you said a podcast. Is that what you said? A radio program or a podcast you were going to be part of?
No, I was looking into, all of a sudden, I got this thing, because for 4 years, I've been trying to establish online energy healing practice
online,
that I do.
That's what it was.
And then all of a sudden, like 6 weeks ago, all of a sudden I said, I think I want to do voiceover. I think I want to do voice work.
Cool.
And so I was really, big into it, because I've always wanted to, and I go, well, what can I? Why couldn't I be that voice?
No, you absolutely
could. Read this book and stuff, and so the industry has changed so much. So people are doing it at home, and scripts are available, through Word or PDF. And I go, oh, maybe I could do that. But then I got to looking at the Audacity, the audio editing, and it's like, God, this is just way more time in front of the computer than I want to spend.
Oh.
And so I'm not sure. I got looking at the audio editing, and it's learning that whole program with the screen reader and things like that. And I go, well, okay, I'm just feeling bogged down. And that's when I just said, I'm done. I don't want to do anything. I'm just going into my cocoon.
Well, you also hit a Mercury retrograde during that time in Leo, which is creative. And so having that Mercury retrograde transit over your moon, that was part of it. So now Mercury's direct. It's about to go into Virgo. As soon as it goes into Virgo, it's going to go over your Venus and your Mars, and it'll make you busy and much clearer. And you'll still probably want to be alone a bit because you have Venus and Mars conjunct in Virgo, and that's the sign of the lunar. So you really fulfill your own, like Venus and Mars next to each other, you have the desire, then you have the action that you take from the desire, and they're right next to each other, so they're acting in tandem. If they were in different parts of the chart, you'd have a part of your personality always looking for the Mars. Where's my Mars? Where's the action? And you'll look for a person to fulfill that. But next to each other, especially in Virgo, you're very capable and desirous of just taking care of your stuff yourself a lot of the time and enjoy your own company. And then Aquarius, the Aquarius rising also can give you that sense of like detachment from other people, and even sometimes a sense of detachment from the ego side of your personality. You're very non-egoic. You can be just a complete humanitarian. Mars moving into Aquarius is going to trigger a lot of that. So what you're going to want to find your people. And I'm looking at your chart, and I really think with Mercury going into Virgo in your 8th house, you're going to want to find a partner. Sorry, I keep hearing the British lady talking here. She derails me when it happens. We have about a minute left of live recording. But also, I'll take the other caller, too, after.
I definitely need a partner for business stuff for sure.
Yeah, it's coming. And Jupiter is, November's going to be the time. I'm telling everybody November, because Jupiter goes into Sagittarius, it hits your midheaven, it's your career, and then it goes into Sag, which is taking action with other people in other places, different cultures, having more freedom.
Yay.
Mars goes into
Yay.
Aquarius soon, and then that will give you a sense of optimism, and that's true for everybody, okay? Jupiter and Sag and Mars in Aquarius, well, Mars in Aquarius will happen for about a month, and then it'll be in Pisces, but Jupiter in Sagittarius is a whole year. And it's going to really make us much more optimistic. So just look for November.
I'm all for that.
And the end of next week should be tremendous for you because you'll get that Mars out of your 12th house. It's like, please just get this out. So just feel a little bit better about that, I hope. And then also Mars going into your house of work is going to increase your work as well. And that's work from home. So yeah, you'll be like, okay, I'm busy, but I'm busy at home, so it'll be good. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm glad I hung in there.
You're welcome. Yeah, I am too. Thank you so much for supporting the show, even when it seems like things are wacky. Because I do my best to try and get back on when it isn't working, and I'm like, oh, please just stay there, because otherwise I'm out here in the ocean fishing for people.
I know.
So I appreciate it.
And actually,
yeah, you kind of helped me with the show. So thank you so much, Linda. You take care.
Bless you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, let's grab 407. Hang on. 407, how are you?
I'm good, Shelley. How are you?
Hi, is this Beth?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, I've got you. Okay. Yeah. No, that's
October.
okay. 29th, 1970. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what can I do for you today?
What do you see with this Venus retrograde doing?
Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde is like, do we really need another retrograde? I'm so over them at this point. It's like, I can't take another retrograde. So Venus is money and Venus is love. And Venus can be the vocal cords. It can be the throat chakra. And that's what it rules in the body. So issues around speaking, like speaking up. Technically speaking, and communication is the 3rd house, but the throat and throat chakra are Taurus. So, it's about money and love. And I haven't even looked. I honestly, it's like Mars retrograde just kicked my butt. So I haven't even looked at the Venus. Let's see, she goes to the end of the month, or is it? No, retrograde's October 6th.
In her shadow now.
Yeah, she's October 6th, and her retrograde till she goes direct to 25, 25 Libra, and she's at 27, so she did just go in her shadow.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. She went in today. Yay. Okay, so whatever you deal with for, let's see, from today through, when does she retrograde? October. So the 10 degrees. It's the 6th of October, 10 degrees of Scorpio, which is all these retrogrades are hitting my planets dead on.
Mine
and I'm
too.
like, yeah, because I have that Scorpio. You have let's see, Jupiter at 14 Scorpio. I have Moon at 12, I believe. So she's going to retrograde right on she's just going to, okay. So what that means for you is that you're going to, like if there's some kind of financial benefit to your career, you're going to have it kind of backpedal a bit for the duration of that particular, from partners. If you're looking, like money from partners can come in, but then it'll be backpedaled a bit. So I would say the coming month, you're going to, well, of course, Venus and Scorpio on the 10th of September. My little birthday present. That's also my birthday. So I've got Mars going direct, yay, and Venus and Scorpio. So it's going to be emotional, and Yeah, Venus moving into Scorpio also hits your sun. It's in your midheaven right now, and so you're basically, your issues are going to wrap up around partners for your business and your career, and money from partners. That's kind of the focus of it. But your natal Venus is also triggered because you have Venus in Scorpio. Right. And that's in other people with Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter's coming into transit over your Venus. And so, yeah, that's a strong energy there too. Transformation around people you're associated with is what it is. The Jupiter energy. Yeah, you have Jupiter going to be on your Neptune. I think we've talked about this before. When Jupiter gets to your Neptune in November, that's going to be a real big shift and expansion around the people that you connect to in your world and who supports you in your career and your soul group. And that's what that's doing for you. So I'm sure I mentioned that last time you called in. I'll just tell you again, it'll be 29 degrees. It's right before it goes into Sagittarius. And so it's going to be pretty much the first week of November. November starts on a Thursday, but the next Sunday through Sunday, it's like dead on. And then it'll shift. So right after that shift is when it happens. So.
Okay. Even if I have Venus retrograde in my natal chart, I know it's not retrograde now according to your progression. Does that make a difference, or does it just?
Well, Venus retrograde pulls in energy, and like when she's direct, she can be passionate and like just think about the nature of Scorpio. Scorpio's hidden, and it can be very intense when it interacts with people, and when it's retrograde, it pulls in, and so it's much more covert and does things behind the scenes. And so that's kind of your nature, is to be more pulled back and reserved in how you express your desires to your friends and to other people. And so even though, yes, Venus direct in Scorpio could be somewhat that way, I think Venus direct is much more passionate and expressive of the passion that she finds emotionally, where Venus retrograde is like, I've been wounded and now I'm going to pull back. And you won't know who I am because I'm going to be in my moodiness and my broodiness. So, yeah, much more like that. And so, people we've had Jupiter in Scorpio for the last year, and it's kind of going to give people a taste of what it's like to be a Scorpio or a Scorpio rising or a Scorpio moon. And now we have Venus going in. So, that can also mean, well, for you, it means that you're going to have much more, intensity in your career and passion. And you're much more, it's going to shift how you see yourself in your feminine energy. And today, like literally today, your Venus is on your moon. So there's that kind of sense of desire around beauty and comfort and balance. And then she shifts over to Scorpio, and then she becomes kind of a raging beast. She's like, okay, enough of this namby-pamby stuff. We're going to make a decision here, and things are going to go forward. And I understand it to be this way and this way, and this is unuseful, so we're getting rid of it, and off we go. And that's what Venus is going to do. And it's going to snap everyone to attention, because Venus is very black and white in her thinking at times. But what she does is it rules surgery, and it's a great metaphor for Scorpio, because it means what is the word? Incisive. Like she just goes and cuts away what she doesn't need or can't use, and know the difference. It's like everything suddenly becomes very clear and very cut and dry. And instead, like Libra is, and you have 3 planets in Libra, including Mars. So you're kind of like, it's all good, it's loving, let's balance it. And then you have all 5 planets in Scorpio, and like, damn it, we're going to get on with it, do it, and better shape up. And I need a partner, and you're going to go off and do this, and boom, 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 boom. And that's what's going to come in for you. When she retrogrades, you'll be like, yes. That's my letter for the word. You'll be like, yes, come on, really? We can't get this done. I really want to do this. And then also people can, you can step on toes a little bit. The intensity you have, and when you go backwards, that's when you feel hurt by people and how they haven't done what you needed them to do. They're not as capable, or they're not as driven, or not passionate. And you're like, why can't you just do this? And you feel really hurt, because Scorpio is nothing if not merged with other people. They want to merge. And so when you find a partner, you're like, okay, we're of the same mind. We're like minds. We're going to go do it. And when they don't do what you want and they act in a different manner than you expect them to, you're like, oh my gosh, that completely. But in a Scorpio manner, which is like, I'm going to seek revenge. So, so watch out for the month and a half, because Scorpio is on the warpath. And that's really kind of what's coming, is like, women gonna get you. And we are
they're already
suffering fools. No, I can guarantee you, in a national stage, we are not going to be suffering fools. So, I mean, suffering other people's foolishness. So anyway, that's what it is.
Look forward to that.
And thank you for hanging on the line and pulling through with me. Anyway,
I think, like the other lady said, sometimes when you don't have the mute on, maybe the show will record onto like the podcast, when you listen to it later. On like iTunes, I have it on like iTunes. Sometimes it comes through if you're not muted.
Well, I will check it out, hopefully. And if it isn't, then what I do is I edit it down to what it did record, and then I'll post that so that I don't lose listeners, because I really hate losing listeners over these recording issues. And it's trying to build your show, and then you half an hour with nothing on air. People are like, "See you later. I'm done with this." So it's frustrating, but we'll get on with it. It's okay. Thank you for listening, and thanks for calling. Yeah, if you ever get on, and like I try and open the chat room every time, just shoot something over in the chat room, and if at the worst case scenario, I'll catch it on the bottom of the hour, and then I'll know. So just say, hey, Shelley, you're not on air. I don't hear you. And then, I'm going to start checking it more frequently, because I need to know. Anyway, thank you so much.
Okay, Shelley, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too, Jennifer. Okay, bye. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's the show for the week. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week, barring any issues. Take care. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at Ironwood